While your Ethereum portfolio was bleeding out this month, Vitalik Buterin was selling every single day. Ethereum just had its worst month in years, down 37% in February alone, and right in the middle of that crash, on-chain data showed Vitalik's wallet draining quietly, steadily, and relentlessly. He walked away with somewhere between 35 to 38 million dollars from selling ETH this month, and here's the part nobody is talking about. He sold more than he publicly said he would. Stay with me because this story gets worse before it gets better. So let's back up. On January 30th, Vitalik posted on X that he was unstaking 16,384 ETH, worth roughly 43 to 45 million dollars at that time based on January prices. He said the funds were going toward privacy research, open source hardware, and security projects. He even used a number that's a power of, I believe, something like 2 to the power of 12th or something like that. Classic developer flex. Very on brand, cool, fine, transparent, right? He told us what he was doing, except when February happened, ETH started dropping hard, and instead of pausing or waiting for better conditions, Vitalik just kept selling. By Feb 26th, on-chain data from Arcrum Intelligence and Look On-Chain confirmed he had sold over 17,000 ETH, exceeding his own stated target. His wallet balance at the start of February was 241,000 Ethereum. By the end, 224,000 ETH. That was the outflow that dripped into the market day after day while you were watching your bags get lighter. Here's the twist where it really gets interesting, and this is the part that genuinely surprised me. Around February 25th, ETH had a notable relief bounce. After weeks of pain, most holders were relieved. Finally, some green, maybe the bottom is, and that was the general conclusion. What did Vitalik do during that bounce? He sold another 2,300 Ethereum into the relief rally, let that sink in. The moment retail holders get a chance to breathe, the founder of Ethereum was using that bounce as another exit opportunity. And the way he's been doing it makes it even more uncomfortable. He's not dumping it in one big transaction that would crater the price and make headlines. He is routing everything through a DEX aggregator, breaking it into tiny batches of 7 to 70 Ethereum at a time, specifically designed to avoid detection by bots and minimize market impact. It is, professionally speaking, a very wise move and a clean operation, but clean doesn't mean it doesn't sting. Now, look, I'm going to be fair here because I think what separates a real analysis from just a rage bait, the most charitable read on this is straightforward. Vitalik announced the sale in January. He told the world exactly what the money was for, and he executed on his commitment regardless of market conditions. Some people would call that principled, and the dude still owes over 224,000 ETH, worth over 400 million at current prices. If you truly lost faith in Ethereum, you wouldn't still be sitting on nearly of $1 billion worth of it. His holdings have declined significantly from his peak over a decade of gradually funding the ecosystem a built. That's one defense, and it's something to ponder over upon, but here's where it falls apart for me. He could have sold at $4,000 when ETH was trading around those prices, and it was as early as back in November 2025. If the goal was to raise funds for privacy projects, selling back then would have meant offloading fewer tokens, keeping more ETH in his wallet for future use, and doing it without adding sell pressure to an already collapsing market. Instead, he sold at an average of $2,000 to $2,200, a massive discount to where he could have been. The counter argument is that he committed in January, just followed through regardless of price, but that's exactly what bothers people. It signals that he doesn't care about the price, and for millions of retail holders watching ETH lose 37% while the Ethereum Foundation announces smile austerity, a phrase that, by the way, sent a wave of panic through the community when it dropped. It doesn't feel like indifference to market timing. It feels like indifference to you. By you, I mean the retail holders. And then there's the fact that he went over a stated amount. He said 16,384 ETH, but ultimately ended up selling 17,196. So that might be a minor margin, but it still counts. The real takeaway, and this is what I want you to sit with from all of this, is Ethereum's problem right now isn't Vitalik selling. Is 35 to 38 million dollar in sales is literally about 0.2% of a single day ETH trading volume. Ultimately, it's a rounding error in the grand scheme. The deeper issue is that ETH has completely lost its narrative. It's not an inflation edge, it's down roughly 60% from its summer peak. While gold is rallying, it's not a growth asset, it's underperforming Bitcoin and equities. It's not even a compelling yield play at 2.8% staking rewards, which is below what you'd get from a US Treasury bond right now. Vitalik's selling didn't create that problem, but it put a spotlight on it at the worst possible moment. So, the question you need to ask yourself isn't whether Vitalik betrayed you, he didn't. Not technically. The question is whether ETH can rebuild a story that makes you want to hold it even when the founder is selling. Share your views in the comment section. I will be reading every single one.